I call the honourable member Amy Adams.
I move that the question be now put.
No. I'm going to call the honourable member Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. Mr Chair, I have to say I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed the government are trying to shut down the debate on this tax administration and remedial matters bill already. And I'm quite fascinated as well, because tax administration and remedial matters bill, tidying up the tax system, making it simpler and dealing with a number of remedial issues is something that we on this side of the House would normally support. And the vast bulk of provisions that we in this bill we do support. And then we get to Part 3, remedial matters, and the abolition of gift duty. We'll just tack that on in there as if it's a remedial matter. It's actually a pretty big deal. Now, I have to say, my impression of Parliament, having been here 2.5 years, going on towards 3 years now, is that you can tell a lot about a government's priorities by the legislation it chooses to push through under urgency. And here we are under urgency, abolishing gift duty, a tax cut by stealth for the wealthiest New Zealanders, tax cuts by stealth, and they're getting very excited over there because this is a party on the other side of the House that's all about privilege and all about protecting their mates and making life easier for their mates. And they talk about the fact that the people at the bottom of the heap, the unemployed people, need to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Apparently the kids of the wealthiest New Zealanders don't need to do that. They can expect a free lunch under this national government. This is a national government that introduced hereditary entitlement to school attendance, and now through abolishing gift duty, they want to make life a heck of a lot easier for those at the top of the heap while they pull up the ladder for those at the bottom of the heap. Yet another example of the National Party's priorities being all about the people at the top of the heap and not about the people struggling to get by and struggling to make a living. All about making it more possible for people to avoid paying their fair share of tax, which is what this government are all about. And in fact, that's not me that's saying that. That's the Institute of Chartered Accountants who said that about this piece of legislation when they argued, and I'll find it, here we go, that the Institute of Chartered Accountants argued that the absence of gift duty creates the potential for people to split their income with people on lower incomes in order to avoid paying their fair share of tax. Another example of the National Party promoting those at the top of the heap not paying their fair share, while those at the bottom of the heap continue to get whacked. Those people who are doing a hard day's work, flogging their guts out to make this country a better place to provide for their families, get whacked with higher tax under this government through increases in GST and the like, while those people at the top of the heap who want to give their money to their kids in order to avoid paying their fair share of tax, well, the National Party is going to help them do it. That's what they're going to do. And the other thing, the ability to transfer income to loss-making entities. Another example of the National Party providing a loophole to allow those with the highest incomes, with the most assets, to avoid paying their fair share of tax. It creates the ability to transfer assets in order to meet minimum thresholds for the financial arrangement rules and the foreign investment fund rules. Another example of the National Party doing its bit so that their wealthy mates can avoid paying their fair share of tax. It creates the ability for someone with a tax liability to divest themselves of the means to pay and then claim hardship. So they can give everything away to their kids instantly and then say, oh my goodness me, I can't afford to pay anymore, so you're just going to have to do whatever you do, bankrupt me even, that's okay, I'm not going to pay my fair share of tax. In fact, I'm not going to pay my fair share of anything, because that's what people can do. If you abolish gift duty, they can give all their money away instantly in order to run away from their problems, to run away from their tax liabilities. And that's what this government are all about, giving it out to the people who have the most assets and the most income, making life a bit easier for them, while the people who are working hard, who are scraping to get by, who are paying their fair share, well, they get clobbered with paying more under this national government. This abolition of gift duty very clearly sets out what this national government's priorities are all about, and it's not about the hard-working New Zealanders, it's not about the people who are trying to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, make life better for themselves and better for their families. It's all about the people who have the most already, the top 10% of New Zealanders who got the lion's share of the tax cuts under this national government. That's who they really represent. That's who they are here for. Those are the people that support the National Party, fund their election campaigns, and they are the people that this national government is happy to work in the best interests of not the people who are working hard, who are doing their fair share and willing to pay their fair share of tax. They get to pay more through things like the increase in GST. I think that says an awful lot about this government's priorities, and that is the reason the Labour Party is opposed to this.
Mr Chair.
What's your name? I call the honourable